So I understand that nostalgia is one hell of a drug. I get it, 100%. But can we stop trying to turn marijuana into meth? Because that's what they're doing when they're taking all of these very fresh, very high energy, very light, childish shows and turning them super duper dark. Now I can pretty much pinpoint and say that it started to get real steam with Archie. Riverdale, actually liked the first season. It wasn't really weird. It was like relatively mundane, and I think that they probably could have done the same show and just called it something different because the characters are really more echoes of the characters than the characters, because when you change so much, you have to get rid of a lot. Anyhow, it started then, and then now you have shows like The Winx Club, which I just want to say, I went home and visited my parents, and they were watching The Winx Club, and I was like, no, y'all are in your 40s. My dad, he only watches shows that are about, like, the military, guns, cars, and titties. Like, whenever I recommend a movie, I know exactly what to give because he only watches very specific. I'm like, why are you watching Winx Club? Why? So that's who their target audience was, I guess. 40-year-olds who did not watch the original one. But now I hear we have another one on this wave of dark nostalgia. That's what we're gonna call it. Dark nostalgia core. Like cottage core or dark academia. I don't like it. I don't like it because now we have the Powerpuff Girls, which is getting a live action adaptation, and it feels like adaptation, live action adaptation is just a little keyword for we want to make it dark, because they're doing the same thing with Avatar The Last Airbender. It does not need a live action counterpart. In fact, shows like Winx Club, like Powerpuff Girls, like Avatar, they all work best when they're cartoons because they're about magic. They're about fantasy. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on which side you're on, you really can't portray that well with live action. You can use CGI. Yeah, sure. You can use CGI, but it's never going to look as good as a cartoon, because when you're watching a cartoon, I mean, it's just a cartoon doing another cartoon thing. You're already distanced from it, versus in reality, you can always tell they CGI dog poop. Like, come on, you can always look and it looks off. You've got the uncanny valley issue and you feel it. You 100% do. So I'm not watching them. I feel like people watch them because you make reviews, fine, whatever. I watch some of the stuff that I'm interested in. I'll just listen to a YouTube video about someone reviewing it because I don't want to put the energy, the time, or give them the satisfaction of having another viewer watch the show. So if you're interested and you want to I want to know about it because I was into it when I was a kid, I want to know exactly how I can be angry about it, fine, whatever. But we can just stop giving them money. The same thing goes for all these Disney remakes. Don't like them because they're basically just apologies for what wasn't there in the originals. Now, mind you, the originals, all this nostalgia stuff, if you're my age, which is, late teens, early 20s, a lot of the stuff that you had when you were a child, that stuff was 20 to 30 years ago, no more than that. Usually it's about 20 years, maybe less. It hasn't been that long ago, but things have changed drastically. And now we're looking back and we can go ahead and say, oh, well, in this show there was plot holes here, here, and here. Oh, in Beauty and the Beast, that was Stockholm Syndrome, or she wasn't strong enough. You can look back and point out things, even if you enjoy the original thing. Now, personally, I'm fine with things having plot holes or mistakes because that means there's more to interactive when you want to do fandom. When you want to write fan fiction or draw fan art or just discuss it, there's a lot more. When it's not perfect, you can go back and there's plenty of things for you to do when it's over. Right now, I'm rewatching TMNT 2012. That was probably my favorite reiteration of the show. And yeah, I see plot holes. I see issues of pacing, with tone, with plot, but I'm still enjoying myself, and I can enjoy it without shouting, I need a reboot so that you can fix this issue, so that you can make April be less of a damsel, so that you can fix this love arc right here. I don't need you to do that. You can enjoy things that are imperfect. And I know this is a bit of a ramble here, but I'm particularly upset because I feel like what's coming up next, what have you been asking for years? What have we been asking for years when it comes to reboots or extra seasons? Danny Phantom, Teen Titans, the nice one that was kind of like anime. We wanted those shows. Have not been touched yet. They still have a very active fan base. People still think about them. They still care about them. But they have yet to be touched for a serious reboot yet. Now, the minute they do, we're going to be on edge. We're going to want it. Be honest, those shows were really good because they were a little bit on the darker side. They still managed to balance the kids' tone with the dark tone. I think that's the best balance, when you're able to balance, this is for kids, but we're going to make it as dark as kids can allow. Because the minute they go too far over that, it's just, oof. I didn't need to read your fan fiction. And I'm just worrying. I'm worried here that sooner or later, they're going to come back through and pick up every little thing that's nostalgic. And soon, look at the market. A lot of the shows that are coming out nowadays are just reboots or remakes. A lot of the TV shows, pretty much everything we look at is a reboot, a remake, an extra season, a super long version of a show. And I think we need to be okay with letting things go. Let's just say, okay, it's dead. I can go visit its grave. I can go watch the home videos we had when we were together. But it's dead. Stop trying to play with the reanimated corpse. You don't need to do that. You can have new talent and new shows. I think part of the problem why we're having an issue with an influx of new shows is the current political social climate. Because if you do anything wrong, you get picked apart for it immediately. And because we're going back into the age of monopoly where everything is owned by a couple companies, you make a mistake in one place, you're done. There is no, oh, there's 12 other people who could hire me still who don't care about this specific thing. It's, I messed up and now you're done forever. I don't really care about Star Wars or Gina Carano, but I do think that exemplifies a problem we're going to have. A lot of people are too afraid to make new things, because if you make a new thing and it's not perfect, they will tear you apart. And it's not even everyone. Like, you can like things that are problematic without it being an issue. You can like things that aren't perfect. You don't have to be morally perfect in everything you consume. It does not reflect on your character if you like to read or watch or deal with something that's darker, or if it's not exactly perfect. So this, dear viewers, is where we part. I wanted to thank you for watching, for commenting, subscribing. We're getting up there, actually, which is surprising because I don't update that often. College is beating my butt, and I'm having a bit of a hard time balancing all of my many, many projects with school and various other things. However, I'm really excited to say that I'm almost done with the first episode of my Transformers podcast, which hopefully will be up soon. And I'm hoping to maybe start watching some new shows instead of rewatching the same 3 ones, or rewatching ones from when I was 12. So if you have any suggestions you'd like me to watch or check out, drop them in the comments below. I always need new things to watch. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.